Today, we're going to be taking a look at Zepha's account. He is an AR 59 player, and he's strictly a mobile player. So, in his words, not mine, he has huge skill issue. But one thing you may not know about me is that I'm also a mobile player majority of the time. So let's see if I can give Zepha some advice on how to overcome those supposed skill issues. Zeph has also given me permission to spend his resin today, as well as do the imaginary leader for him, so we can check both those things out later if we have some extra time. Now clearly I see I've spawned in here on this lovely view of the chasm with our lovely lady Mia here, so why don't we take a look at her first, huh? Okay, level 80, right. We always want to make sure we're getting that final ascension in there because look at how much it's going to increase our crit rate. And if you don't level your characters to 90 or even level them above 80, that final ascension is still very important to get because of that boost in their stats. A Rust player, very based, level 90 and R5, okay. 4-piece shim, I like it. And we got 8 normal attack and 8 skill and ignoring the burst. Extremely based. 67, 123. Crit damage seems a little bit low, but you are using Rust, so I suppose that is to be expected. Very nice attack sands here. Unfortunate about that HP percent roll. But really nice for the double crit and the couple rolls there. A double crit feather as well. Very nice. Looks like we got a couple flat stat rolls here, but that EM's not wasted, so that's not bad. Again, very nice flower. Crit rate and crit damage there. A little bit of attack. Crit rate circlet. 21% defense. That one rolled rough. That sucks. And our off piece here, that is a pyro damage bonus on Crimson Witch. You better not have a Hu Tao or somebody who could use that on set. I think honestly, the only thing I could see here that would be a definite improvement is looking for another mask that has some more crit damage rolls. And I think that would help the ratio look a little more balanced. And if you got that final ascension as well. Overall though, very nice Yoimiya. Zhongli, 47k HP. That is one beefy grandpa. Okay. I can definitely tell this is not someone that is a weapon banner enjoyer. And I respect that. Weapon banner is a scam. Oh, okay. When you said your Zhongli was on 2-piece, I was not expecting 2-piece geo damage. I was expecting 2-piece HP. But that's fine. It looks like maybe a little bit of a sub DPS roll going on here. But if you want to focus purely on him as just a shielder and invest as far into the shield as you can, then I would go for 2-piece HP with the Vorakosh's Glow set, which should be in the Strongbox in 5.0, so it's worth looking for a 2 set of that, since you have 3 potential pieces here that could be replaced. Speaking of, alright, these don't need to have great rolls related, you just need to be looking for HP. Yeah, 11% there, 13% there, HP percent main stat with some ER. Yeah, if you're not going for him as a sub DPS, I'd say go HP here as well. That is a really nice goblet. It's probably better off on someone you're actually using as a Geo DPS. But also if you don't have a better person to hold that, you might as well get some use out of it. Yeah, overall, pretty solid build. Those are just my tweaks that I would personally make, but if he works well for you right now, if you want to take advantage of that geo damage bonus though, I'd probably invest a little bit more into his burst. But that is up to you. Alright, we got a peek of Shan Yun with the weapon. Level 90 again, very nice. 3100 attack. Yikes! She is buffed. I guess that is definitely helped by this weapon here. Only level 80 though. I get it. 5-star weapons take a shit ton of enhancement in order to level up. Considering she's an attack scaling healer, this is not a bad weapon to put on her at all. And you have 2 lost prayers here. Wow. I would like one of those for my Wanderer, please. However, if you would like to use a weapon that's a little bit more tailored to her role as a support, because honestly, all the Skyward Atlas does is really be a stat stick, Fav Codex, especially you have this one at R5, is going to be really great for her. Give her more energy particles to the team and increase her energy recharge, which is really important for her because her burst is the majority of her kit's utility. This Ballad of the Boundless Blue event weapon is actually also a really solid choice for her because of the ER stat. The passive doesn't really do much for her, but on the off chance that you want to use your codex on somebody else. Good job leveling up the burst. I would say level up the skill at least a little bit more because you are going to be using it to swirl with her a lot of the time, and so it's nice to get that extra damage in there while you're at it, even if you just take it up to like level 6 or something so you don't have to waste too many resources. Now, for these artifacts, obviously attack scaler, attack percent is fine on her, but as an animo unit, you gotta go for VV. Viridus Inventor it's just the best. It's just better. She's able to do so many swirls with her skill, and she's really useful for that. So that's it. And given that I know you said you use Xiao a lot, and I'm assuming she's on that team with him, it will definitely be a boost to your damage. I see this. It looks like this started out as a piece for a DPS, but when it rolled into 27% ER, it became the perfect off piece for her, and I couldn't agree more. That kind of ER to get on a piece is crazy. That looks like, did it roll into ER every single time? That's wild. Wow, that is such a rare piece to get. I have a feeling this was an Abyss Strongbox piece. Am I right? You always get the craziest random pieces out of there. This piece is so good, I'd honestly save this for a DPS. And then you could swap this out with perhaps a Gladiator's Feather to get 2-piece attack percent if you don't want to go for the VV. But I also have no idea who you would use this on, except as an off piece, because obviously this is the healing set. Another flower that started out as a DPS looking piece and turned into a Shan piece because it got 19% attack. Since you do have the attack percent weapon, I think it is advantageous to run healing bonus here, but if you did switch to an ER weapon, I'd probably change this to attack percent. But with your ER rolls being so crazy on the artifacts, I'm wondering if you might not need it. 157. I guess since you are running her with Xiao, if you're really also running her with Farazan, she's probably getting plenty of animo particles. Actually, I take that back. She's probably doing just fine. And I mean, you spent the materials to level it, you might as well use it, right? Alrighty, my girl Raiden Shogun. Level 90 as she should be. 1700 attack. How much ER we got? 242. That crit ratio though. Crit is hard to build on Raiden because her best and slot weapons are all ER percent. And because you want to put so much ER into her, it's hard to also balance crit stats, so I understand that struggle. Catch, level 90, R5, good on you. You did your fishing. I'm proud of you. And I just noticed the 400,000 Mora. Why is every account I review broke, man? Since you did want recommendations on who potentially to pull for in the future, if you really like using Raiden and you want to invest into her as a hyper carry, C1, C2, and C3 are all her best, so all 3 of her early constellations. Level 8 skill, level 9 burst. I sense a reluctance to use crowns here. Oh yeah, 27 of them. My man, they are not doing anything sitting in your inventory. Don't be afraid to use crowns, man. They are a very limited resource, but they are not a finite resource. You will get more of them over time. And it is worth it, in a lot of cases, to get that final boost to a character's skill. Okay, back to these artifacts, because we gotta figure out what's going on with that crit ratio. Attack sands. Attack sands! Attack sands! Okay, I'm being a bit dramatic. You can use an attack sands on Raiden. It's only really for engulfing lightning builds because of just how much ER that weapon gives you. Otherwise, you want to stick to the ER sands, which I know are so hard to farm, especially on set. Yeah, only 10% crit rate on here. Yeah, this isn't a piece that's worth keeping around. Use that one to power up an ER sands when you get it.
Also, if you get an ER Sands, you won't have to rely on such large ER substat rolls on the artifacts, so you'll be able to focus more on crit substats, which should hopefully help out that ratio.
Overall, Raiden's going in the right direction, but she could definitely use some improvements on the artifacts. Alrighty. Now this Keqing I'm excited to look at because Zeph said that this was their #1 most invested character. And I can already tell seeing that 2500 attack on the side there and level 90. 62 to 32 for the ratio. Like, you could probably try and balance for an 80% 200 ratio, and that would probably be a lot more consistent. But it's still great as is. Yeah, you got the Misflitter for her. I knew I had to see a 5-star weapon eventually. Probably her best in slot weapon. And it looks gorgeous on her too. Almost triple crowned. Wait a minute. Both of these are blue. Does that mean? Oh my god, she's C6. C6 Keqing. How does it feel to live my dream? Oh my gosh. Wow, okay, yeah. The investment makes sense to me now. 2-piece Electro, 2-piece Glads. We got an old school kind of build on her here, but there's nothing wrong with that. This is a very versatile build for her. So let's see here, what do we got? 90% crit damage, 7% crit rate. Okay, pretty nice feather. Another very nice flower, 24% crit damage there. Crit rate circlet with 18% crit damage. Little bit of ER, little bit of EM, and attack percent. No wasted stats on that piece. That is an incredible circlet. Could go for electro damage bonus, but with stats like that, you probably don't want to right now, because it's going to be hard to find a replacement for that. Attack percent Sands, alright. Little EM, little ER, 6% crit rate, and 23% crit damage. Again, no wasted stats on that piece. That is an incredible piece. Okay, yeah, your Keqing is clearly well invested. So I wouldn't touch her unless you get a godly upgrade out of somewhere. Arlecchino. Hello, father. Level 90, 2100 attack. Got the signature for her as well. Level 90, very nice. So what are we looking at for the ratio then? I'm guessing it's gonna be pretty nice with the signature. Ooh, yeah, 75. 195. That is... Oh, you can't get too much better than that. That's pretty optimized. C1. Zep did tell me that they're going to go for C2 in the future, which I think is an excellent plan. You've already invested this far into Arlecchino with the C1 and the weapon. So going for another early constellation that's really, really good is going to really pay off for you. Crowned, normal attack. Artifacts, got the Fragment of Harmonic Whimsy. I'm very impressed with people that go through the torture to farm this set. Feather, very nice. Crit damage, crit rate, attack percent. Perfect. Flower, holy shit. 13% crit rate. Plus 18% crit damage. You clearly got very lucky in this domain. What can I say? Crit damage, mask, a little bit crit rate, a little bit ER. I mean, your crit rate is already perfect because of your weapon, so honestly, the low crit rate on here doesn't bother me at all. And the onset Pyro Goblet. Substats, not the best. If you wanted to try and improve her, you could probably look for a better off piece here. And then look for an onset Sands maybe, but wow, that is a nice Sands. It'd be hard to find a replacement for that one, so I respect this choice. But wow, you have a very nice, very well invested Arlecchino here. That is top notch, very good. So Zeph did not tell me exactly what the stars meant here. I mean, I am assuming these are the characters that he is working on or favorite characters. But he did tell me that his Zhao is also one of his very well invested characters. And he does have a C6 Farazan as well. So let's take a look at Zhao, shall we? 2200 attack. Are we about to see a 5-star weapon? We are Staff of Homa Zhao. Very, very based. And honestly, it looks better on hand than that ugly green spear. What can I say? Level 90, and he's level 90 as well. Extremely nice. What's the ratio looking like? 53 to 54. Okay, are we about to see Marisha say that crit rate seems low? No, we're not. Okay. C1. C1 is really good at helping ensure he has no energy problems. Double crowns here. Okay. I take back what I said about you being reluctant to use crowns. Maybe you just simply have too many of them. Now, Zeph did mention that they're hoping to pull for Farina, that they haven't got her yet and they actually lost to D-Luke, which I feel like you're there, buddy. If you do happen to end up pulling Farina and your team for Xiao is with Farazan and Shen Yun, Marisha Say Hunter is actually going to be Xiao's best in slot, because he'll be able to fully take advantage of the crit rate buff through Farina's HP drain and Shen Yun's healing. But this is very similar to your Kaching set, where this is a very universal build as well. So this allows you to play Xiao without Farina. Since I'm seeing a lot of older event weapons on your account, that you're a very old player, and this might have been a build that you decided on a very long time ago, which I can respect, not wanting to change your builds after you think they're finished. So let's see here. Okay, yeah, very nice feather. Only crit damage on the flower here. Crit damage 17%, 14% attack though, so that's pretty nice. Like I said earlier, your crit rate does seem a bit low. Like I always say, I aim for 60% as a minimum, because if you leave it at 50%, then it's still a 50-50 every time if you're going to crit. And, you know, losing 50-50s never feels good. Simply because, again, you have that crit damage that is over 200%, and if it's over 200% and your crit rate is still looking like that, I'd say it's worth it to take a little investment out of crit damage, just to get that better balance for better consistency. Switching to a crit rate circlet here with only a couple crit damage substats would actually probably fix your ratio entirely. Now this is a very good piece, don't get me wrong, but it seems like you're over-investing into crit damage before you're meeting your ideal crit rate. So a crit rate circlet would help fix that. So if we're gonna look at Xiao, we have to look at Farazan here. And she is indeed C6, you are a very lucky man. R5 Fav Bow, level 90, as it should be, her signature weapon. 220% energy recharge. I'm gonna assume she does pretty fine if you're playing her in triple animo with Shen Yun and Xiao. 4-piece tenacity. Tenacity is still a very good set to use on her because it gives extra buffs. If you're going to be using tenacity, you're probably going to want all of your pieces to have at least some ER on them. Like this is a very good circlet. A little bit of crit rate, ER, crit rate for Fav, of course. Animo damage bonus for the goblet, ER sands, very good. And a very nice crit feather as well. Wow. I don't know, she's someone that's hard to balance. Farazan is not very easy to build, even at C6. And if you really like using your Xiao, it's worth taking the time to invest a little extra into her. Alrighty, let's see who else we have to work with here. You've got a really good variety of both DPS options and support options here. So good on you for having a really diverse roster of characters. And you have a lot of characters leveled up here as well. Like all of your 5-stars are at least level 80. Except for your standard ones, obviously. D-Luke without even activating the constellations is, I respect you. I mean, surely you have a Xiangling, right? You've done Abyss. Oh, she's all the way down here at level 60? At least she has a weapon, but man, please build your Xiangling. She's C6 too. You can use her with Risley too for Melt. Actually, I am a little curious about this guy. Is he built? We do have the Lost Prayer on him. Alright. 56, 159. Okay, is he on Marisha Say? He is. Alright. Crit rate might actually end up being a little too high, depending on what characters you're playing him with. Because of Cryo Resonance, you can accidentally overcap your crit rate. Attack percent circlet. Okay. If you could get a crit damage circlet with some really nice attack percent rolls and not worry about crit rate, that would honestly probably give you a much better ratio for Marisha Say. And you get a lot higher crit damage number as well, which, you know, always looks really nice. That's certainly a flower. Yikes. Really nice onset cryo though. EM Sands. Okay, I thought the EM looked a little high. But I think you'd be better off switching to attack percent here, especially if you end up switching off of this circlet to a crit damage one. Ooh, gotta work on these talents, man. You've had him for this long and his normal attacks at level 5? Zeph didn't mention Wriothesley at all in his application, so I'm assuming this isn't one of his main characters that he plays, but in the off chance that you do want to play around with them, you could definitely switch up some of the pieces and level up those talents a bit. Tainari here, is he built as well? Stringless, okay. 2-piece Deepwood, 2-piece Wanderers. Oh nice, really cheap build to put on him. Yeah, these are all pretty solid pieces. Obviously, it's harder to build a pretty good crit ratio without a crit weapon, but Stringless is still really good on him. Speaking of Stringless though, Fischl, yeah you do. How's Fischl built here? 2000 attack, Fading Twilight. I don't know a whole lot about this weapon because I feel like it doesn't come up very often, but this passive doesn't seem that bad for Fischl actually, especially since it can be activated off field. But since it takes a total of 21 seconds to get to that full damage boost, I feel like, yeah, I don't think you would get there during her normal Oz duration. I don't know, it seems like it may be hard to be consistent with. You do have a second Stringless, and this one isn't even all the way leveled up. Honestly, I would invest into the second Stringless for Fischl. She will definitely appreciate it. Not a 2-piece Golden Troop here. It's like we're on our way to a 4-piece set, maybe. This being an ER weapon significantly decreases its value for Fischl. Fischl does not need that much ER. And if you are going to put her on an ER weapon, then do stay on like Fab so she can at least benefit the team, but just go Stringless. Just go Stringless. It gives her so much damage boost. Fischl is definitely one I would suggest to invest a little bit more into because she is great for Aggravate. Aggravate is a great team comp for Kitching to be in. You recommended you wanted some team comp recommendations for Kitching, so I would say Aggravate is probably the easiest and the best one to try her in. The great thing about pairing her with Fischl is that Fischl's Ascension 4 passive ensures that every time you trigger a reaction, you get another hit of Electro. So you can basically have an infinite supply of Aggravate procs as long as you have a consistent supply of Dendro applied on the enemy. You really don't have a whole lot of Dendro supports to play around with here, which is a little unfortunate. Yao Yao is definitely one I would pair in an Aggravate team, especially since she can fill that role of healer as well. 2-piece Maiden's not where I'd go on her. She doesn't really need to invest in her healing all that much. A healing bonus circlet will probably be all you need. Instead, I'd suggest going for a 4-piece Deepwood so she can shred resistance, or go with a 4-piece Instructors. Like for example, you have a great piece right here with this EM Goblet that has ER on it. Instructors is a great set because it increases your character's elemental mastery, but it also increases the entire party's elemental mastery, which can be really great for reaction teams. So I would say for a Kitching Aggravate team comp, I'd go Kitching, I'd go Fischl, I'd go Yao Yao, and then I would go for a second Dendro. I think someone like Kirara would be a really great choice. You have her starred here, so I assume you intend to use her. Kirara is a super easy build. You just stack as much HP as possible on her, and she'll do everything you want her to. Really, all you need to do is invest into her shield, which it seems like you've done here. You've got the Dockhand's Assistant, great weapon for her. Otherwise, just build her as a shielder, and she will do great. You could also swap out Yao Yao or Kirara for someone like Dendro MC, but Dendro MC can be a little harder to work with because their Dendro application is in a fixed AoE, and they can have some pretty high ER requirements. You do have them on the Sapwood Blade, which is pretty good. 2-piece Noblesse, not bad actually. This seems like a more universal build, so you can switch your Traveler's element around maybe, which I think is more than fine. Honestly, for Traveler, it's good to have that kind of flexibility, and it's nice to not have to swap around artifacts. Pretty decent ratio too. And pretty good ER though, but I'd have to test this in a team to see if this is enough. If you want more options for Dendro and you end up really liking an Aggravate team, going for Nahida is always going to be a solid choice. She's the single best Dendro player in the entire game. She opens up so many different kinds of team comps. Basically anything you want to do with Dendro, you can do it with Nahida. If you don't like using Dendro with Kitching and you want to try something else, you can do a classic Taser team, Pair her with someone like Sing Cho for some hydro, someone like Fischl, or even Raiden if you just want to use her as a sub DPS support for some extra electro application. And then you want Animo Swirler, so you have Kazuha here, he'll be perfect. Shan Yun could also be fun. You could try Plunge Kitching. You can also try Plunge Risley. You could even try Plunge Raiden if you want to do something really funky. Shan Yun opens up so many fun team comps. For Kitching, you can also try an Overloaded team if you want to build Chevrus. Overloaded is honestly one of my favorite reactions in the game, just because I love how fun the explosions are. And Chevrus has made it finally a viable meta option. But all you really have to do with her is slap her in a team with only Electro and Pyro characters. So pair her with Keqing, and then someone like Xiangling would be really useful for all that extra Pyro application. Bennett as well, you can do Xiangling Bennett core. And you should have plenty of Electro applied from Keqing, but if you feel like you don't, you could do someone like Fischl, you could do someone like Raiden, and they can all facilitate a pretty nice Overloaded team. Speaking of Bennett, I'm curious, let's take a look at him. Has he been built correctly? Aquila Favonia. Nice. Great weapon for him. 4-piece noblesse. I love to see it. C6. Absolute respect. You play Arlecchino, and you play Yoimiya, so like, why wouldn't you? And honestly, you could try Pyro Plunge Zhao. I've heard that's pretty fun too. Burst Crown. Respect. And the real question, what are the stats on these artifacts? No! Ladies and gentlemen, we got another one. 07. As I've said now what it feels like a million times, Bennett's buff does not scale from any attack percent modifiers that you give to him. All it does is increase his personal damage. The only stats that matter for Bennett's buff are the flat numbers. It's the ones that you see on the weapon. Anything else does not matter. What you want to do is fully invest into HP for him and healing bonus to increase his healing, and his attack buff will be fine with just giving him this weapon. That's really it. So all you're looking for in substats really is HP and ER. And if you want to build some crit on him, like if you're using Fav, or if you just want him to do a little bit more damage, you can. Looks like he is built to crit, which is interesting. 155 crit damage is actually crazy. Oh, because he has a crit damage mask. I think I've said pretty much all I can about his character builds. Since your Raiden has the most skill issue build and your Xiangling has no artifacts, I think we're gonna do you a favor and we're gonna farm some emblem for you today. The team is just called Yoimiya. We do have an aggravate team here. Okay, using Kazuha in here is fine as well. Although I worry if Yayo's Danger application is gonna be enough for this team. But what I really wanted to try out while we're here is the Xiao team. Pogo stick. Because I'm not a Xiao player, never have been, never plan to be. I love doing these account reviews because it gives me a chance to test out some characters I otherwise would have never built. Okay, so do we that,
disappear.
That. I can't see what damage we're doing here, but we seem to be going okay. Alright, 43-second clear. Ooh, got a 3-drop. Okay, try again. Well, I think I can safely say that Farazan is not having energy problems. Getting the rhythm of Xiao is real hard on controller. I keep accidentally double tapping. Shiminawa is not what we want. Yeah, nobody on this team has energy issues. Wow, everybody's burst is up by the time I'm done. Man, no luck for me today in Emblem? I mean, not like I've ever had luck in this domain. Man. Can't even get one good piece from my boy. Dendro Cup. Terrible substats. And an HP Sans. No, it's not that good. Attack percent's not gonna work if they're an HP scaler. I was gonna say this could be a heal-on piece if it rolls into crit and ER a lot, but maybe it's worth locking. There you go. Got one okay piece for you. Man, no good pieces today, really? So I assume Startfischl, this, Swirl with Kazuha, and then... Oh yeah, okay. We are hitting some aggravates. He is staying Dendro applied. I like that. Yeah, she's hitting pretty nicely. Okay. So Yayo, I didn't realize how long the Dendro aura stayed from Yayo's skill. I'd say this team could work pretty well as is. But I would encourage you to try out Kirara as well. Well. I'd say that today was a very interesting account review. It's definitely a little bit of a mixed bag with some of the builds on this account, but there are really a lot of really solid characters and really solid builds as well. I can definitely tell you that it's not all on you. Definitely taking some time to invest in some of the characters I pointed out today. I would say my best recommendation is, as far as farming goes, farm Emblem until you have a set for both Raiden and for Xiangling down here, and get Xiangling leveled up and built. And I never looked at Sing Cho, but get this man an Emblem set too. Holy shit. So there you go, that's your task. Farm Emblem until you get 3 full sets. While you're doing that, you'll get some Shimenawa pieces to maybe upgrade your Yoimiya, you know? Then strong bucks anything you don't have into Viridescent pieces. It'll help you build Shan Yun, it'll help you build Venti if you want to, help you build Jean if you want to. If you get Farina, I highly suggest building Jean. She's a great healer to go along with her. Your Kazuha does have a 4-piece BB set, which is good, but I would at least try to get one more for Shan Yun, which will be a little easier because she doesn't want full EM stats like Kazuha. You'll just need to get her some healing, some attack, and the same goes for Jean, really. Jean and Shan Yun have very similar builds. You can honestly ignore Venti, unless you really like using him, but you have Kazuha already and you have Shan Yun, so you're set on Animo groupers. And I do hope you really get Farina, man. She's a great character. She's gonna work great with all of your characters, you know, because she just slots in just about anywhere. At the time of recording, you got 8 days left, man, so hope you're hopping on that Primo Gem grind. And if you don't get Farina, then like you mentioned, Yelan is a pretty solid alternative, so you can have more Hydro options. Really, you only have Sing Cho right now. I mean, Ayato is there, and you know, Child is for main DPSing, not Hydro applying. So Yelan is not a bad choice. And you can do double Hydro Arlecchino, you can do double Hydro Yoimiya with her. And also, like I said, if you really like Dendro, you really want to play around with Dendro, get yourself a Nahida. Either way, that is just going to be about it for today's video. And if you too would like to have your account reviewed by me, pay attention to the future when applications will open back up again. They're currently closed. I have a little list of ones I need to get through first before I'll do applications again. But once they do, I'll announce it here on YouTube and on my Discord, so make sure to subscribe and join there to stay updated on everything related to my channel. Alrighty, that's going to be it for today, guys. I'll see ya next time.